What's up guys, this is Kyle with Legends Boxing, and today we're going to talk about bruised knuckles and boxing. So, bruised knuckles, I have a lot of my members that present this challenge to me every now and then. This has happened to me in the past. At some point, most experienced boxers are going to deal with this injury at some point. So, this could be a wide range of things, going from a small bruise to a sagittal tear in your knuckle or even a fracture in your knuckles, okay? So, the first thing I always recommend, this is especially to you guys that are novice or getting started in boxing, start slow. When you're just getting started, it is really good to focus on form, technique, speed, snap, instead of just wailing on the bag every time you see it, because your hands and your knuckles do take time to condition to punches. Like that's just how it works. And so if you've only been boxing for a week and you get going into it and you're just, every time you see a heavy bag, you're just pounding that thing, that can potentially cause injury and a short-lived career boxing. So one of the first things I would always recommend to prevent this is invest in a good pair of gloves and a good pair of wraps. These are our gloves. These are available on legendsboxinggear.com. As you can see, they have a good amount of padding. They are well formed to the hand and get broken into your specific hand shape. And so invest in a good pair of gloves. If you're gonna make this your everyday, I wouldn't, go to Dick's Sporting Goods and get the cheapest $30 pair of gloves you can find, because you're gonna wanna protect your hands, right? I wouldn't be working heavy bags in anything under 16 ounces preferably, because again, your hands, time will tell and you'll start to get those bruised knuckles. Same thing with wraps. We're actually coming out with a new product called a Pro Wrap, which is kind of a combination of a quick wrap and these, that is gonna offer superior protection to your knuckles. Now, a couple things that happen that people do wrong that causes this, that can be prevented. They box in jewelry, so they wear a ring. What this can do is, for one, this puts a lot of tension on your hands as you're squeezing a fist and keeps you from improperly forming a fist. So when wrapping or boxing, remove your jewelry, put it in a safe spot. The other thing is wrapping hands too tight is another thing that can cause an injury. If I use this wrap right here, and I toss it out, you'll see when I wrap my hands and I start going around the knuckles, I keep my fingers nice and wide and spread out. So I go around my wrists. Now as I go around the knuckles, I don't want to keep them tight together and start wrapping tight, because what happens, if you can see, when I make this fist, that's squeezing this point knuckle up, right? Because my hands can't spread out like they naturally would. Putting that knuckle forward, and that's where all the pressure is being absorbed constantly. So when I'm wrapping my hands, I want to keep a nice wide palm as I go around. Now as I make that fist, that flattens things out just a little bit, again absorbing that pressure throughout the rest of your knuckles, okay? Now, these are things you can do to prevent it, right? Going easy on the bag, working technique, developing power. Now, I'm going to show you what to do if you've already dealt with this injury and are currently dealing with it, and what you can do to keep boxing with it. So here's some things I've done that are good for prevention in your hands, and also remedying once this injury has already occurred. As always, my first recommendation is talk to a doctor if you're experiencing pain, and take a break. Give your knuckles rest, go light, work on some shadow boxing, some other techniques. But if there's no other option and you gotta box, this is what I would do. Let's say this knuckle is the one that's injured. A lot of people will just continue to put padding on that knuckle, but that's actually not helping. That's actually making it worse, because you need to take pressure completely off of it. By putting something on it still, there's still pressure on the knuckle. It's still absorbing force first. So what I do, again, I do this with a sponge and some sports tape, is I'll take a sponge like this, I'll fold it in half, again, and I'll take knife, scissors, whatever you got, and I will cut a little gap in it, just like this, if you can see. And what I'm gonna do now is, as I'm wrapping my hands, see that? So it fits on these two knuckles right here, fits on this one right here, takes pressure off of that one there. And then what I'm gonna do is, as I'm wrapping my hands, again, it may be helpful to have someone hold this to your knuckles as you wrap your hands, or wrap your hands for you. So I'm just gonna go over it a couple times. There we go. Make sure as you're making a fist, it's actually covering your fist. And slide that in your glove. That's one thing you can do that's gonna help alleviate pressure off that knuckle and then distribute to your other parts of your hand as you're boxing to help with some pain management. All right, guys, thank you for watching. I hope this really helps you as far as knuckle pain and management. As always, if this doesn't help, and beforehand, I recommend talking to a doctor to take a look at your hands, make sure it's nothing more serious, and give yourself breaks. If you walk into every training session treating it like it's just a power round and you gotta hit everything as hard as you can, I promise that's gonna pop up. So make sure you're balancing your training, make sure you're working skill, technique, and again, if you're new to this, take your time, build into those power shots, build into developing power at your pace so you can avoid these kinds of injuries. As always, invest in good equipment. Again, you can check out our website, legendsboxinggear.com. We've got gloves, wraps, our new pro wraps will be dropping soon. All things that can help you save your hands as you're boxing in the long term and prevent this kind of stuff. Again, thank you guys for watching and reach out if you want any different types of videos.